Trebi Hammond. Well, we'll get into our roundtable discussion this morning. And this morning, as I indicated earlier, we're talking about fire safety measures for businesses. And of course, fire emergencies can be devastating, yet many businesses are not adequately prepared. Today, we're going to explore how businesses can protect themselves through fire safety measures and also financial protection. Now, I know that you are listening to me. You're a business owner, you're a CEO, you're an investor. Fire is a very important thing to talk about, and I know that you may want to listen and pick a thing or two from this conversation. This morning, we'll begin with an insurance perspective, how businesses can use insurance really to protect themselves from fire risk. And then maybe later in the conversation, we'll bring in a fire service expert to discuss fire prevention, emergency response, and also challenges in Ghana's fire safety system. And so I have in studio already Edward Kwejo Owusu, who is a chartered insurance professional, and he's going to begin this conversation with me. Eddie, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you too?
I'm doing very well.
Great.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
We haven't spoken in a while.
Since the last time.
Yes. But it's always a pleasure to have you.
Yeah. Good to be back here.
Right. Now let's start from understanding fire insurance, really. Let's try and break a few things down. What types of fire-related risks do businesses typically face? And how does insurance help mitigate these risks?
Okay, thank you very much. So just as you stated when you started your introduction, you said fire incidences can be very destructive and can be very devastating to businesses and then to individuals alike. Right. Understand? I mean, most of the times we hear of fire in the market, fire in businesses, and I mean, it's troubling. And you see, especially with the market women, they cry, they've lost their investments. Some of them have gone for loans and they are thinking of how to pay back. And you ask yourself, so what next for them? And that's when fire insurance comes in. But the unfortunate thing is that most of these people who are affected by fire in the market, in other places, do not even have these fire policies to even start off, to even compensate them in these moments or in these times that they are faced with fire risk. So fire insurance, basically, like every other insurance policy, provides financial compensation to businesses, to individuals in the event of a fire event.
Right.
So, for example, if I'm operating a business and I've taken a fire insurance on my business to cover maybe my building, the things that I'm selling, and there's fire to the building, then I can follow my insurance company to get compensated for that loss that I've suffered. Yes.
So typically, what are some of the elements you insure when you're insuring exactly, I mean, particularly against fire risks and all of that? What are the things? Is
okay,
it just
so
the people,
so there are different types of fire insurances on the market. So we have the basic fire policy, which we call the fire and allied peril policy. Okay. We have there's another policy we call combined fire and burglary. There's a policy there's even for businesses, there's something we call business interruption insurance. And then we have the asset or risk. These are all different kinds of policy. But what it covers basically is, so for instance, if it's a factory and I've insured my factory against commercial fire, it means that I'm covering my building, which is the building of the factory, and then the things that I'm manufacturing, the content. Do you understand? Right. So if I insure my building against fire and the building is raised down by fire, it means that the insurance company is going to compensate me for that loss. If I've insured my contents, so if I'm manufacturing maybe cables, I'm manufacturing maybe any other thing that I can sell or any business that I'm into, and there's fire that brings everything down, then once I have a fire insurance policy in place, then I can fall on that policy to get compensated. Exactly.
Right. I would want you mention about 4 types of
fire insurance
policies. Maybe you may want to take them one after the other and let us understand what exactly they are.
Yes. So I'll start with the basic one, which is the fire and allied peril. So just as the name suggests, it's a fire policy that covers you in the event of a loss occasioned by fire. So the cause of the loss should be fire. So just as we have with motor, the third party fire and theft and comprehensive, the fire, the allied peril is the basic one. And what are some of these allied perils? It could be flooding, it could be earthquakes, it could be explosion, tornadoes, and all other things that could affect or that could start fire to your building.
Right.
So the basic policy we have on the market is the fire and allied peril. And that one, you walk into any insurance company and say you want to cover, but mostly that one will cover the building.
Okay.
So that one covers your building, and not the content. So if you take the basic fire and allied peril, unless you specifically ask that the content should be added, it will cover your building.
Okay.
And then we have the combined fire and burglary. So this is the named peril policy. So the law should be occasioned by fire and burglary.
Okay.
Theft,
yeah.
You understand? So if I take a combined fire and burglary, it means that if something should happen to my property as a result of fire, or if the content within my property, the goods, my raw materials are stolen, that is the burglary part, then the insurance comes in to cover for it.
Right.
Then we have the asset or risk. This is more of like a comprehensive fire policy. And mostly the policy will tell you that it covers all risks unless it is specifically excluded from the policy. So if you take the asset or risk policy cover, it tells you what is covered and what is not covered. So once it is not stated specifically that it is not covered, then it is covered. It's covered. I don't know if you understand. So if I take an asset or risk, which is a more comprehensive policy, in that it covers me against fire, against theft, burglary, flooding, and all other risks that my business is exposed to.
Right.
Unless it is specifically stated that, okay, this is not covered, this is not covered. But once it is not stated, then the asset or risk will cover all these things. Another policy that businesses can take to cover for their losses in terms of fire incident is what we call the business interruption insurance. So
business interruption insurance.
Yes. What that means is that, mostly when fire happens, your business comes to a halt. You are not in operations, but there are certain costs that will still be incurred. So for example, if I have workers I'm working with and my building or my factory is raised down by fire, and I'm going to incur those costs by paying them until such a time that the business comes back into operation, this is a cost to the business. So once the business is interrupted as a result of the fire, you have that policy, it covers you for that. And then even your net profit and other things. So that is an endorsement that you can do on your fire policy. But let me also state that the business interruption, you cannot take it as a standalone policy. As I can go walk in and take a fire policy, you can only have a business interruption policy when you have a standard fire policy in place. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? What I'm saying is that, so I can't just walk into an insurance company and say I want to buy a BI insurance, business interruption insurance.
Okay.
Before I can purchase that, I need to have a fire policy because the BI is subsequent to the fire happening. Because if there's no fire to your factory or property, there'll be no loss for you to even cover. So it is an endorsement or it's an addition to any of these fire policies that we have.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So from what I get, there are some of these policies that focuses just on the building.
Yes.
There are some that focuses on
the building and
its content.
Yes.
And there are even some which is the business interruption.
Yes. So covers the financial aspect of the business.
Exactly. Awesome. We already know that. I mean, I know a lot of people are listening and they don't know this particular thing. Now, what key factors should businesses consider when choosing a fire insurance policy?
Okay, so as a business, you need to understand your operations. Because if I have a warehouse, okay, if I'm an owner of a warehouse, and then I just rent it out to others, then what is my interest here? My interest is just the warehouse, which is the building. So if I want to take an insurance policy, my concern will be the fire and allied peril on my building.
Okay.
But if I'm a businessman that owns the building and owns the machines and the equipment in it, then I need to go in for a more comprehensive cover aside the basic fire policy. So in that case, I'll go in for maybe an asset or risk or a commercial fire insurance policy, which will cover my building and then the content. So first, you need to assess your operations.
Okay.
Know the losses that you are exposed to or the risks that you are exposed to, and know which cover to go in for.
All right.
Yes. And then you also need to compare policies, because there are different companies that sell fire insurance. I mean, there are different insurance companies. So you can maybe shop around, maybe through a broker or an insurance agent, get proper advice. Do an insurance audit on your risk, on your business, and know which kind of cover will suit you, and then you can go in for that. Yes.
I would want you to be a bit more specific. Okay. Maybe you can mention some industries that have high risk, and so because of that, this is a particular one that you think is better for them. Yes. Maybe you can just run us through.
Okay, so for example, when you take filling stations. You know, when there's a fire to a filling station, it's very devastating and it affects a lot of people.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are surrounding buildings and properties that get affected. So, you know, by law, per the insurance at 1061, private commercial buildings, whether at the stage of construction or after construction, needs to have insurance.
Okay.
So it is even regulated to have insurance on commercial properties.
I see.
So that if you don't have it, it means that you are breaking the law or you are not being compliant, and it can even be taken on for that.
Right.
So by law, every commercial property must have an insurance policy covering it because of some of these risks that they are exposed to.
Yeah.
So, like I said, a filling station, even some of them, before the MPA renews their license, you need to produce your insurance certificate.
Wow.
To tell them that, okay, you have a fire insurance covering that property or that business. So in the event of a loss, people are not stranded and they can fall on the insurance and get compensated.
Okay.
I mean, these industries, these manufacturing companies, they all have insurance on their buildings and on their equipment against fire. So if something happens, they are covered. Market to men, most of them will not buy, but some do have it because mostly these markets get. I mean, recently there was fire at I think Adum in Kumasi, where fire destroyed a lot of properties, and these properties run into millions of cedis. But you realize that most of them don't have insurance. So these are businesses that can also go in for fire insurance to protect their assets and then their properties. Yes.
I see. So how do we rope them in? Are the insurance limited to just formal organizations or the informal sector as well?
Well, insurance is for everybody. You see, but you know, the education, I think the insurance companies and all of us as stakeholders in the business need to do more of education, because people are not even aware. Sometimes you go to the market, you engage these market women and market traders, and they are not even aware that they can even buy a fire policy for their business. So I think we need to do more of an education. We need to educate the people and let them know that there are policies that can cover them in the event of a fire loss.
Right.
So insurance is for everybody. The informal sector, even the informal sector, they need even more. They need it more because most of these big industries, if something happens, maybe because of their investment that they've made, they can come back quickly on their feet. Right. What about these shop owners, these small traders?
Yes, on
family and friends, politicians going there and giving them monies, which ends up in people's pockets. You see, so they even need more of these insurances. And I think it boils down to educating them, letting them know that yes, insurance is not just for the people at the top, but insurance is for all of us. Right. So that's why we even have something called micro insurance for some of these petty traders to help them in their businesses. So to answer your question, insurance is for everybody. The informal sector, formal sector, small business, big business, everybody needs insurance because you need to have that peace of mind when you go to sleep, knowing that my goods and my business is protected under insurance.
Yes. I see. What are some of the misconceptions that people have about insurance?
The greatest one is that insurance doesn't pay, or insurance people don't pay when there's a claim.
It's a very big one.
Yes, it's a very big one. So people think that, okay, insurance people, quote and unquote, are thieves. When they come to you nicely, they take your money, and when there's a claim, they will not pay, or they'll be tossing you. That's the biggest misconception out there. But I always tell my clients, or I always tell people who I deal with that has changed. Because basically what we are even selling is the claims. If I sell insurance to you, or if I sell fire insurance to you, and there's a loss and I'm not able to pay or I don't pay, you're not going to deal with me again. So I lose out on you, and you go out spreading the word against me. So now insurance companies really pay. And even if you have a loss or you have a claim and insurance company doesn't pay, the NIC is an avenue for you to go, the National Insurance Commission, for you to go and make a case and get the insurance companies to pay.
Right.
So the biggest conception out there is that insurance, we don't pay, but we pay. I mean, those listening to us, every business listening to us this morning, know that insurance pays. That's how come you need the services of an insurance broker or an agent to advise you properly, to guide you through the process. But I will say here today that every insurance company pays claims, because that is basically what we are selling.
But misconceptions don't just come. Probably this particular misconception, as we call it today, came from an engagement with a particular insurance company. And because of that, a lot of people don't want to get into insurance.
Exactly. So let me explain it this way. You know, the claims process is very technical. You know, and when there's a claim, when there's a fire loss, you can't just walk to me and say, okay, my house is raised down or my business is raised down by fire, pay. It's a process that we go through.
What's process?
First of all, the fire service needs to be informed. They come, do the assessment, gives a report.
Right.
You understand? The report will indicate what led to the loss, what caused the fire. And then there are certain other documentations that you need to produce to the insurance company to process your claim. And most of our insurers or most of our clients find this process very long and tedious, because they will tell you, when you came to me to sign me on, you didn't ask me for these things.
Exactly.
You understand? But the claim materializes and you are asking me to bring all these things. But you see, insurance also works on the fact that, I mean, both parties must be truthful to each other. People sometimes take advantage of the fact that they have insurance and they want to benefit from insurance.
Yeah.
But they are not supposed to benefit from insurance. It's a policy of indemnity. You're supposed to be restored to where you were prior to the loss.
Okay.
So insurance needs these documentations, the police report, the fire report, the other documentations to authenticate the claim and to tell you that, okay, this claim that you are presented to us is genuine. And once it is genuine, they'll pay. But so that's this brings us back to the education. Mostly when we are selling the insurance policy to people, we don't explain these things to them. The other thing too is that, you see, any insurance policy that you buy comes with documents. People also don't read, because the document contains the terms and conditions.
Right.
And it tells you what you need to do in the event of a claim. Okay. And because people are also not reading, and we marketers or salespeople are also not explaining to people, when there's a claim, there's confusion, there's conflict. And then if it festers with this perception that, okay, these people, that's how they are. They don't pay.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. But once we're able to do more of education, explain the policies to our clients and let them understand, then all these things will be a thing of the past.
Yes. Right. 10 minutes after 9, and this is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM. This morning, we're having a conversation on fire safety measures for businesses, and I have in studio Edward Kwadwo Owusu, and he's helping me understand. He's a chartered insurance professional. He's helping us understand the insurance perspective of fires and fire safety as a business. If you want to join the conversation, you have a question, you have any comment you want to make, please do well to text me on 0544321019, 0544321019. You can as well call me on 03039566641, 03039566641, or you can engage us on our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH. Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH, and we'll do well to read your comments. We're going to get into other parts of this conversation, and I'm going to try and touch on a few things with you before we bring in our fire service officer or fire officer to also share his perspective on matters. But I want to ask you, what are some of the biggest mistakes you believe businesses make when it comes to fire insurance coverage?
Come again with a question.
The biggest mistakes businesses make when it comes to fire insurance coverage.
Okay, so under insurance. So because of the premiums, the premium you pay is based on the sum insured.
Right.
Or the amount you insure your property against. And because people mostly don't want to pay higher premiums, they come and they are underinsured. So for example, his building costs maybe 1 million Ghana cedis. And because he wants to pay less, he'll come and tell you his building is 200,000.
Okay.
In that case, if there's a loss and the whole building is razed down by fire, insurance is not going to pay you more than the 200,000. Or if you under declare on your goods that you are selling, if you under declare on your goods that you are selling, and there's a loss, insurance is going to pay you based on what you declared at the point of insuring or at the point of taking the policy. So that's one mistake that people do. They come, they under declare, they under insure, and then when there's a loss, they expect to be compensated fully.
Okay.
That will not happen. Yes, so I would advise that when you go to insure, so before you even insure, get a professional valuer to value your property, value the items that you have, and insure it at the right amount. So if there's loss by fire, you get compensated fully.
For that.
Yes.
Right. What other mistakes do businesses make?
So some other mistakes, sometimes you go to places, or especially this market women, and the excuse they will give you, me from personal experience, is that they'll tell you, we've been in this market for years, nothing happened. I've been doing this business for years, nothing happens, because they see insurance as not so important.
Right.
Or you pay, nothing happens, your money is gone. They don't think it's so important for them to get insurance. So they tell you, I've been here for years, nothing happens. So, fire insurance is one of the cheapest products on the market. But that's also one of the least patronized policies because they feel like, okay, nothing will happen. So that's another mistake that people make. You might never know when fire will strike. Nobody goes to sleep and think that by the time I wake up tomorrow morning, my building is raised down or there's fire to the market.
Right.
But it can happen due to the negligence of someone or any electrical fault or anything. So I would advise that people should not have that at the back of the mind, nothing will happen.
Right.
Always prepare for the unforeseen events of the future. Yes.
Okay, we're going to talk about the processes involved in getting an insurance.
Okay.
We'll come back to that. But let me come to, we've been joined now by Prince Billy Anaglati, who is Assistant Chief Fire Officer and also the OT Regional Fire Commander. Is that fine? Is that right? Okay. And he's also going to help us with the perspective from the fire officers. And say, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Do I call you Commander? Or
yeah, no problem.
Okay.
You can call
all right.
me
So, Commander, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for making time to speak to us. Well, we've heard about the financial protection aspect of fire emergencies, but prevention is just as important. And now we're going to discuss how businesses can prepare for and respond to fire emergencies. Maybe I should start from here. What are the common causes of fires in Ghanaian businesses? I know that in recent times we've seen some fires, I think about 6 fires already in 2025 in Ghana, in our markets. What are the common common causes? I don't want us to limit to just the markets, but also any other business. You can speak to them generally.
Yeah, thank you. I want to use this opportunity to say good morning to our listeners and our viewers. Yes, we have 5 main causes of fires. We talk about ignorance. That is actually, alluded to children, that they are ignorantly causing some of the fires. We talk about carelessness, which is the major cause of many of the fires that we have. We talk about accidental, of which for me, I'll be saying that there is no accidental cause of fire.
Why do you say that?
Because if you look at accident, it is an act or event without a human factor.
Okay.
Yeah, so but if you investigate all these fires, there is a human factor. The commissions or omissions of human beings are the cause of these fires. So accidentally, I don't think we have accidental cause of fire. That is me. Others might argue it differently. And we also have arson. That is the deliberate, cause of fire with an evil motive. And we also have natural causes. Well, natural causes, maybe lightning and volcano or any other one. Even lightning causing fire, it has various dimensions. If lightning strike a tree and the tree is burning, it's a natural cause.
Yeah.
But if lightning should strike a building and the building is burning, it's carelessness.
Why do you say that?
It is because it could have been prevented. Okay. Lightning arrestor could have been used, or proper earthing system could have been done for the building that would have prevented that fire. So if you fail to do those things and lightning strike it, now it's purely carelessness.
Right.
So if you specifically come to businesses, what they do within their domain by causing the fire, one, some of them in their warehouses, they overload their premises. They fill their goods from the floor level to the ceiling level without any good ventilation. There is something we call spontaneous ignition. Spontaneous ignition is where the fire starts without any external introduction of heat or fire.
Right.
So you pack your things in your shop or in your storeroom without good ventilation. It will begin to generate heat within it. And mind you, even cobwebs burn like petrol, cobwebs. So if you have cobwebs and your product itself is generating heat for lack of ventilation, cobwebs can be the first to pick the fire.
Oh, really?
And extend it to other areas. So overloading of your warehouse or your shop with goods without good ventilation can also cause fire. Secondly, there are people that even pack their things close to sockets, electrical sockets, and other, electrical connections. If you do that, if there is any spark, faulty spark from any of those sockets, can easily pick the fire. And at times you also see people leaving their premises. They don't even take time, few minutes, to look around to see what other electrical gadgets that are on that are not supposed to be on, to turn them off. You'll be surprised people who get to their shop, they have used a fan throughout the day. As they are closing, they forget to turn the fan on. As the fan is turning, it is radiating heat within it. And there are combustible components within the fan that when the heat reaches its ignition temperature, it will start the fire. So these are some of the causes. And mind you, if you look at market fires or fires in offices and other places, many a times happen during holidays or weekends or even in the night.
That's true, when nobody's around.
Holidays are times because people are going on holidays, they leave some other electrical gadgets on that needs to have been switched off. So they overwork and causes some of these fires. And you also look at electrical wiring system. Overage electrical wiring system in some of the premises. People go to rent premises, they are using it for businesses and all that. They don't even know how long those wirings have been made. And in our safety regulations, we said when you have a surface wiring, 25 years, you need to change it.
Right.
If it is conduit, 35 years, you need to change it. And within this period, if you don't even know how long this electrical wiring have been done, maybe you rented it, you can get to the Energy Commission, and then they will come and determine whether the electrical wires are still good to go with. Other than that, we have been saying that surface wiring, you don't have to paint it, in the sense that if it is becoming old, the insulations on it will become hard and brittle. So you'll see the cracks on it, knowing very well it needs to be changed. So it will fail to change all these electrical wiring if they are overage. The insulation will fall off, exposing the positive wire to the negative. And if they breach, easily fire could break out.
Right.
Some of the premises or shops that you get in, you look at the switches and socket. In fact, the white man who made the switches, sockets, of all these are in the whitish color. If you turn and look at the one just behind me, see the whitish color.
White.
They are not in the whitish color for nothing. So that when there is overheating within it, it begins to change color, indicating that you need to change it. As it's changing color with that, it is reducing its intensity for electrical, for electricity or the current passing through it, so that you can withstand it. Electricity or current passing through a resistor will definitely generate heat. So if the color is changing, tell you that it's weak, and you fail to change it, it can also easily cause fire. When you overload your sockets, probably you have overloaded your socket, and then the power goes off. And the power is restored. Many a time when the power goes off and it comes with a higher intensity.
That's true.
So you have already overloaded your socket. The moment it comes with that high intensity, it will blow off where you have overloaded. So it can easily also cause fire. And we also engage these electricians who are not even qualified. They come to do substandard work and all that.
Yeah.
So they are also the major cause of fires. Electricians that we just call in to come and all that, because the safety law is even saying that they should stop binding the wires. If they are joining one wire to the other, they should stop binding it. Because if you have a loose contact, there's going to be arcing, and that arcing will generate heat. That will easily start the fire. So they should use connectors. But how many of them that are using connectors and all that thing? Right. So there are so many things that we can look at if we really want to prevent fires. That is why if you look at our LI 1724 Fire Precaution Premises Regulation 2003, make it clear that for any business to begin or commence any business, you need to ensure that you get a fire certificate.
Right.
And that fire certificate will entail with the fire service coming to inspect your premises, do the risk assessment, and recommend what you need to ensure that the premises is protected. And even that, you will be taken to training. The training will be able to equip you with the basic idea, knowledge, and how to prevent the fires within your premises. And so that even if the unexpected happened, you will still be able to use the firefighting equipment available that you have to reduce the impact of the fire on your premises. This is what people fail to do. So the fires are occurring, and then they are blaming fire service for not fighting it. And we do not cause fires. We fight fires.
But you fight fires.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, interesting. So interestingly, there's a law that requires you to have an insurance certificate before you set up your business. From what you said.
I read commercial properties, yes.
Okay. And there's also a fire LI. There's an LI on fire.
1724, yes.
Wow.
That also insists that premises or commercial premises should ensure their premises.
Yeah.
So we also have to enforce that. Fire service we also need to enforce, because that's what the law says. That as we are giving you our certificate, we ensure that you ensure your premises.
Right.
Yes.
So what exactly is the problem with these market fires that we've been experiencing recently? Do they have fire safety measures that is required of them? Do they have the fire certificates that is expected of them?
You see,
if not,
yes.
why don't they have, and who is supposed to be checking?
You see, many of our markets here in Ghana are not standard markets. They are not standard markets because markets have specification when they are to be built. So they involve fire service in the planning.
Okay.
If you look at Makola number 2, that has been well planned and built. If you look at the original plan or the building of Makola, that number 2 that I'm talking of, the street, a street has cut across it so that you can drive in straight this way and diagonal this way, meaning that the street that has cut across it on 4 lane has been used as a fire belt in the first place, so that if fire should start at one corner of the market, it will not travel to any other. It will be confined there. But what are we seeing? Those streets that should serve as a fire belt have been encroached upon with these structures. So the structures that they put in are interwoven. So they are serving as a bridge for any fire that occurs. So quickly, it moves from one place to the other. And those structures that they are placing there on, that is why I always blame the custodians of the market, which is the assemblies. The assemblies has to ensure that there is sanity in the markets. Because those small structures that they put in there are not supposed to be there in the first place. They are blocking accessibility even if there is fire. They are creating a pathway for the fire to spread quickly from one place to the other. The whole place is congested that you can't even enforce fire safety within the premises. We have been doing our lot by having fire risk assessment in the market and ensuring that the reports get to the assemblies. But implementation is the problem. So
you mean the assemblies don't implement the things you said?
Yeah, exactly. So the failure on the part of the assemblies to ensure that those recommendations are implemented are the major cause of some of these fires. Because we recommend that there should be fire hydrants in the market.
Right.
We recommend that there should be early detection and warning system in the market, so that in case there is any fire, then quickly it will detect an alarm. So that security men within the market will be able to know. And then because we train them, then they will be able to start even fighting the fire. Why is the fire service?
Right. And you also mentioned that these market. I mean, I'm coming back to the question I asked. That these market women, do they have these fire certificates, and who's supposed to be checking them?
That is what I'm saying. That they do not, because fire certificates, as I'm saying it, it's not given to somebody who have a structure. Just a structure selling maybe few things on that. Fire certificate is like premises that you have a shop there. Then we look at the risk within the premises, and then we can let you have but not makeshift structure that somebody have that you go and give a certificate. It's not. So majority of the people that are selling in the markets, majority of them do not have fire certificate because they don't qualify to have fire certificate. They are selling on tables. They are bringing their wares from people's workshop and are laying it within a path, and they are selling. So they are even the major causes of these fires.
You said something earlier that you don't prevent fires. Is that what you said?
No. I'm saying that we don't set fires.
You don't set
fires.
The
firefighters, we are to prevent the fire. Okay. Indeed, fire service is established not to fight fire per se. Our major role is to prevent
the fire.
Yes.
So what have you been doing about these people, like you mentioned, who pick wires from other people's warehouses and they connect their stuff on a table or something? What have you been doing about it?
That is one of the recommendations that we send to the assemblies. We don't have that enforcement in the markets. The custodians that are the assemblies have all that it takes to stop the rot in the market. So we identify those things in our reports, recommend that ABCD should not be done in the market. And we followed up even to go and educate the people in the market, periodically, letting them also to know that their actions and inactions could be as a result of fire, and then the destroying all their wares and other things. But the custodians, the assemblies, have all that it takes to ensure that there is sanity in our markets.
Right, and they are not doing what
they are not doing it. That is why we are seeing all that fires that are occurring. Are you understanding me? Fires occurred in the markets, and then it takes so many hours for people even to detect it and to inform fire service. Because security men that we always say that they should have a lot of security in the market, equip them with communication gadgets. These are some of our recommendations that we'll be saying, that they should have a lot of security men. We will train them. Then they will have the eye to see what fire prevention is, so that if others are doing the other way around, they should be the first people to check the people and let them do the right thing. Right. But if you get into the market, our markets now, you don't need to be a very good electrician before you will be able to know that there are illegal electrical wires that are all over. We see it. You get to the market, they are all there. So you can't tell me the assemblies are not saying that. So in our recommendation, these are some of the things that we talk about. Our markets now are being used as, sleeping places. As people sleep in the markets, they cook in the markets. If you go to some of the markets now, there are chop bars, there are drinking spots in the markets. People smoke, people get drunk, they throw the bat away and all that. If you get into the market, you see these rats running across the areas and all that. Those things, they chew the electrical insulations, expose the positive wire to the negative, and that has also been causing fire. If you get into the market, they are not able to segregate the highly combustible material from the lowest combustible material.
Right.
You see somebody selling turpentine just close to the person, somebody is making tea or somebody is carrying the fufu on the head with fire and all. These are some of the things, because at the end of it all, nobody knows how they will dispose of those fire that they used to. So if indeed we want to prevent the fires in the market, it's easy. We can do it. But fire service cannot do it without the custodian, that are the assemblies. We can't walk into the market and begin moving people's structures and all. We will lock horns with the assemblies.
Right. I see. I know a lot of people are listening to us and they probably have burning questions. And so if you are like that, if you want to ask any question, you want to make any comment, please feel free to text us on WhatsApp on 0544321019, 0544321019, or you can call us on 030395661, 030395661, and we'll do well to answer your call, and then you get to ask a question or make a comment. You can as well engage us on our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH. Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH. Right. This morning we're having a conversation with two gentlemen. We have in studio Edward Kwejo Ewusu, who is a chartered insurance professional, and also Prince Billy Anaglati, who is the OT Regional Commander for Fire Service. Yeah, Commander, I don't want this conversation to be just about the markets, but I know it's burning, and so we'll touch on that a few. How do we stop these market fires?
It's simple. First of all, we need to go back to the drawing board and ensure that we meet the specification of markets. There shouldn't be any market without a fire post. We need to have a fire post in the markets. So when we have a fire post in the market, it means fire personnel are there 24/7. So at the end of the day, as people are closing, they also go around to ensure that those who are locking their premises turn off all electrical gadgets that are not supposed to be on. During the day, as the market is in session, they go around to ensure that whatever activities that anybody is doing is not a recipe for fire outbreak. Because you get into the market, there are even a watchmen with their iron, they are using fire, there are a whole lot of things that happen. We can stop the market fires when we design a place specifically for cooking. Not that anybody in his own small way is having a gas cylinder, is cooking, is setting fire in a coal pot, is cooking. We need to design a place that those who want to cook should go there. So it will be controlled. We need to ensure that the markets are not sleeping places. They are not places where people should have chop bars and drinking places that will work after close of day. If you want those things, they should go within the working period. We should also ensure that the lane, the access lane in the markets remain clear and free for vehicles and other things to move in. We should ensure periodic assessments on people that are in there. So if the assemblies are going to give a shop or locate a shop to somebody, they should work hand in hand with fire service.
They don't do that?
No, they don't. When they are working hand in hand with fire service, we will ensure that the safety measures are put in place before even the person commences business. But we move in today, tomorrow, we realize that somebody has already packed wires into the premises they are selling. Like I stated earlier, how to even pack your wires in a room is also a thing to do to prevent the fires. So all these things are things that the assembly should do in conjunction with what? Fire service.
But all of them seem long-term, don't they? All the things you're mentioning, they seem long-term.
It is not a long-term issue. Let's take it for instance. Somebody is coming to take a shop to begin selling today. And if assembly inform fire service, we will get in and say, before you even start bringing your things in, make sure you have a smoke detector in there. Make sure the shelf that we are doing to pack the things in is not too close to the wall. At least there should be a space around it for air to be circulating. The fridge that you are coming to put in, where you are putting, make sure you have a socket directly for the fridge. You are not going to use extension cable. These things are immediate things that the people should ensure that it is done even before. Are you understanding me? Make sure you have a firefighting facility like fire extinguisher, and then we will train you as to how to use it. We will tell you, looking at your place, we identify, certain common hazards that could cause fire. Then we educate you on those things and ensure that you don't do A, B, C, D. So we have a link with the person. So frequently or periodically, we will be moving in and be assessing and ensure, because anytime that we give you fire certificates, you need to renew it periodically. Right. That's yearly. So it is not a matter of just working to fire service that you are renewing. We have to come back to assess your premises, to see the safety measures that are supposed to be there are in place before we even give you fire certificate. So if we are following all these safety measures in our markets, each and every individual is paying attention to safety measures within the market, we will prevent fires in the market. All that the Wula Balu saying that people were setting fires to the market, let us even admit that yes, it was people that are doing that. But if our markets are standard markets, you set fire to it, that fire will not even go to any length to destroy anything.
Right.
Are you understanding?
Yeah.
So we can prevent market fires. Let each and every individual, including the assemblies, who have very, very big role to play in the markets, to ensure that those structures that are at unapproved structures at some of the markets should be removed. Let's have accessibility. Let's make sure that we liaise together. They should liaise with fire service, and then let us be in the market. Let every market have a fire port that will enable fire service to be there 24/7
Right.
to monitor and assess anything that anybody is doing in the market.
Right. A major concern, and sorry, I'm going to bring you into the conversation very soon. We have a few minutes. A very major concern that has been raised is that fire service people don't get to the place on time. We call them and it takes forever before they come. What exactly is the problem? What is the typical response time when businesses call on fire service?
It's supposed to be 4 minutes.
Sometimes it takes hours.
Yes.
What is the problem?
Ideally, every community is supposed to have a fire station. Ideally, that's how it's supposed to be. Every community. That will improve our response time. That will even enable people within the community who quickly rush to fire service, or they will even know their numbers. Those that have been shouting that they are calling fire service, they are not coming. If you have the opportunity one day, they are there, they are short, you want to interview any one of them, ask the person the number that he or she called, and they should show you the evidence that they've called. When I was at the PR here, anytime we get there, those were the things. We call fire service, I call fire service, they were not coming, a whole lot. I said, which number? Some will even tell you 999. 999 when? 999 will ring, but it terminates at PNT, it doesn't get to fire service. They will mention funny numbers. At times I say, let me see, show me. Oh, it's not me, it is this person. You trace it, you don't even get whoever call. So, many attempts, it is not that they call fire service. We are ready. If you should have the opportunity to be at a fire station and they are called for fire, it is then that you will see how we respond to it. Or if we are even eating, you drop it, you don't wash your hand, you jump into a fire tender. You are moving. Are you understanding? Yeah. The challenge, I should also not say that there has never been any time that we don't get there late. It is possible that there are times that by the time we were called, we may not make the good time in getting there. One, at times the traffic. You see, you have all the sirens, and then you are moving, you are behind vehicles. They are incalcitrant to the extent that they know it's a siren, they don't want to give you way to move. It is there. There are also at times the distance that we need to cover. The road at times too are not very good. So these are some of the challenges that we have. But if people should call us in a good time, that the emergency happens, there is fire in their premises, they want to try their hands on it until it goes out of hand that they call us. By then, all other means of fire spread might have already be available. So if you have fire within your premises, you call us in a good time. By the time we get there, the other means of fire spread might not have readily be available. Then we will ensure that the fires are extinguished to protect your property. But when you delay in calling us, today, if you make just a phone, you open your phone line and then you ask people of our fire service number that they should call, emergency number, you'll be surprised. Out of 10, you'll see how many people even know the number to tell.
So tell us the number so that anybody listening will know.
Well, we have our 192 there,
yeah,
and 112. Yes.
192 and 112.
Yes, you can
I know about
call.
192. Right.
So the issue is also that when you live in a community and the closest fire station, you should just get there, have their local number.
Okay, so every station has a local number.
Yes, exactly so. Apart from the emergency number, every station has a local number. I see. Yes. So when you have the local number, it is easier and faster.
Okay.
That when you call, other than you calling the emergency line, it goes to our control room. They will pick it.
But how about you advertising your local numbers in front of your buildings? Maybe you put up a small billboard. This is our local
when you
number,
get
so
to
that
the
we don't
fire
have to go to
station,
192.
when you get to the fire station, we have our numbers in there. People, when it comes to fire, like he said it here, it's like insurance. People think that they have lived in these premises for years. Fire has never occurred, so fire will not even occur. So there are times that those are the things they tell us. When we were doing our community house-to-house fire safety education, walking from one house to the other, you will be surprised they are not ready to even allow it in. They will tell you, but I've lived here for years and they have never been fired. So what is there to learn about fire? They have forgotten that the longer you stay within the premises without fire, you are getting close to having fire within your premises. But they don't. So when the education we are doing now, what we are doing is education. You will be surprised that people may change into other music or other something else, movie that they want to see. When it comes to fire safety education, we are educating people. People do not want to avail themselves for the fire safety education. I am telling you, people that are so serious to avail themselves for the education are those that have experienced fire before, are those that have seen the destructive nature of fire before. Indeed, 90% of all these fires that occur are all preventable. But because people are not listening to the safety measures, people listening to the safety measure, but they don't implement it. We, the fire personnel, we can't be your bedroom. We can't be your kitchen. The only thing we can do is to create the awareness for you to carry into your premises. Right. If you get into your home and you are doing the wrong thing, that is it. How many times have we not even told people that you don't have to put blocks or weights on top of your cylinder? But let's walk into this community and you see the number of people that are placing block or metal on top of their cylinder, and the cylinder is right within their kitchen. So if there is a leakage, because of the block you put on it, the hissing noise that is making for you to know that is leaking will stop. But that has not stopped the leakage. So it leaks into your room. You get in there in the evening. You turn on your light. Even the little hissing noise in the switch is enough to blow your whole room because of leakage. Right. All these things are things that people should learn, but they think that nothing will happen. These are the things that have been causing a lot of fires.
Right. We have just about 10 minutes to go, and I want to know what steps. I mean, you mentioned all the problems. What steps is the fire service taking to improve emergency response time, and as well as the education bit of it? What are you people doing?
Yeah, so the new chief officer is vested in fire safety. So she said she's going to ensure the aspect of fire prevention that will reduce the fires to the barest minimum. If we have the opportunity, we'll stop fires completely. But because that has not rested only on fire service, because the other aspect, the individual also have a role to play. So we are going to start enforcing the laws. When we are enforcing the law, we are getting to the premises, we are closing down premises, filling station and all other radio stations, and then people will begin to be doing the right thing. They need to be forced to do the right thing. And by so doing, they are protecting their own property as well.
Yeah.
But if you come to our response time, what we are doing now is, even if you get to the market now, we are doing market patrols. Because we are doing market patrols, if there is any emergency, we are already there at the time. Except in the night, we only go in and move out. So all these patrols we are doing, and we are sending people into the communities again, educating people. That is the only way we can be able to have a first-hand information when the emergency occurs, for us to quickly know how to get to other offices to call our fire service to get in there. Apart from that, we are thinking of ensuring fire posts in certain communities where we don't have fire stations. And then we are training community volunteers as well, so that they will be the first hand of response when the emergency.
You've started that already?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we are doing. So we've been training the volunteers so that they will also be getting into the community to educate people, so that when the unexpected happen, at least they have the basic knowledge of how to fight it as well. Right. So we are trying to improve on our response time by having fire posts within certain communities. And then also ensuring that people call the fire service quickly. That is what we need people to have our numbers written in their premises, written in their kitchen. Even on the phone, they should store it. Yes. So that they can call us quickly.
Okay, so 192 is a number, or 112. And all right, thank you very much. Those are very important things you shared. Now let me come back to you, Edward. We've spoken extensively about insurance and the need for it, and you've made us understand a lot of things about the insurance bit of things. And I think Mr. Naglati also highlighted a few of the things along those lines. But what are the processes? Do I just walk into an insurance firm and say, I want an insurance? What do I do to be able to get an insurance for my business?
So if you want to get an insurance, it's very easy and simple. Like you said, you can just walk into any insurance company and seek to buy a fire insurance policy. Or you can also buy your insurance through an agent or a broker. These are experts who can even give you proper advice on the right kind of policy to go for. So you either buy it directly from the insurance company, or you buy it through an agent or a broker. Yeah, there are so many brokers on the market, there are so many agents on the market. Or you can just walk into any insurance company, describe your business operations to them, and then they can recommend or advise you on the right kind of insurance policy to take. Yes.
All right. Okay. We've spoken extensively. We've covered a lot of things. Maybe I want to take your final thoughts. We have just about 5 minutes to go. I'll take your final thoughts. Right after this conversation, what are some 3 things you think people should do from here? So I'll start with you. No, let me start with you, and then I end with.
So what I would say is that, beginning of the year, everybody or businesses make their budget.
Yeah.
I'll recommend or advise that insurance becomes a part of that budget, because it will be very sad that you wake up one day and all your investment is gone as a result of fire. And so I'll recommend that people add insurance as part of their budget beginning of the year. I also recommend that, yes, God protects all of us, but God also expects us to be responsible when it comes to, that's why God has given us the mind and the wisdom to operate. So in as much as we believe that God will protect us and our assets, we should also make insurance one of the go-to things that we need every year, so that when something happens, either to your home, to your business, your property, you are covered. Because insurance, and the perception that insurance doesn't pay, I think it's a thing of the past. People who have made claims to attest to the fact that insurance companies really pay. So advise people that insurance become part and parcel of them, so that when something happens, they are also covered. Yes.
Thank you very much, Edward. Now let me come to you, Mr. Prince Anaglati.
Yes, I want everybody to know that every fire is preventable, but we need to get committed to fire safety.
Okay.
That is why it is necessary that we work to fire service, invite fire service to come and do risk assessment in our premises, in our shops, wherever we find ourselves. Then we can advise as to fire protection measures that you need to put in there. We educate people within the premises also to know how to live. We should also understand that fires will not come and then will go without taking your property away. But you can prevent it so that it doesn't come even at all.
Right.
There are lives that are even lost in fires. We can prevent all this. Many times people are interested in using, they are looking at security aspect of it. So they barricade themselves, they fortify security to the detriment of what? Safety, which is death. Because if you have total security without safety, then you are walking to death.
That's
because
true.
you see many of the fires that people die in it. They wake up and they see that there is fire within their premises, but because of how they have, barricaded themselves with it, they can't even move out. So let people get to fire service and take ideas. We are not saying the burglars are not to be used, but we advise that you use the collapsible ones, so that when the unexpected happens, you are in it. You can slide it and you open. We have so many, ideas that we can advise people how to protect their investment, how to protect their own life, and then it is only when you get to fire service. We are moving to premises to educate people, but it is better you also move to fire service as early as possible to enable us educate you. So I urge each and every individual or group of people to get to fire service so that they will get the aspect. So that tomorrow fire here, tomorrow fire there will be prevented if people, get to fire service to know what exactly to be done to prevent it. And definitely we'll get close to prevention totally.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you both for your invaluable insights. I'm glad that you all came. We hope to come back to you again for further conversations along the same lines, and then we see how we can make the nation better. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Prince Anaglati. Prince Billy Anaglati. He's a OT Regional Commander for Fire Service. And also Edward Kwejo Owusu is a chartered insurance professional. And these two gentlemen give us all the deep insights into how we can handle fires going forward. It's a second quarter and you might want to protect your business. So make sure that you take these things. If you miss a conversation, you can visit Z Multimedia on YouTube. We have the recording there. You can just go and watch. But thank you very much for staying with us. One thing is clear in this conversation, and it's about the fact that fire readiness is not just about reacting when a fire occurs. It's also about preparation, prevention, and having the right financial protection in place to be able to cater for that. So to all of you who listen, please, we hope this discussion has given you some practical steps to safeguard your businesses against fire emergencies. Let's take fire safety seriously, because prevention is always better than cure or than recovery. Thank you very much for being part of this conversation. We are back again tomorrow at exactly